Hello guys, welcome back to Coding Cafe. My name is Mohammed Ali, and in this video lecture we are going to allow a user to sign in, or you can say log in, with Firebase authentication. And once the user is logged in successfully by providing the correct email and password, then we will send the user to the main screen, which means to the main app. So let's just go and open the register login screen, login screen.dot file. And now in here what we need to do, if you come back to the registration page, then here on the registration page we have add the controllers. Okay, for the time saving, what we are going to do is we are going to copy the email text editing controller. Let's come back to the login screen, and then we can simply paste it here. And we need to copy the password text editing controller also. So just copy this, and then also let's paste this, and then come down here, and here with the email text field we can say controller email text editing controller, and then for the, make sure to put a comma here. Okay, and then for the password we have controller password text editing controller. And the next thing is that when a user click on the login button, what we want to do, obviously we want to log in the user using Firebase. So remove this. Now we are going to call a function which will be login user, or you can give it name as login and authenticate user. One parameter to this function, which is the build context. Okay, context. So let's just implement this function here. So we can say login and authenticate user, and as you know that we are passing one parameter to it, which is build context, and it will be of type async, and the return type for this function will be void. Okay, and let's go back to the registration screen. From here, for the time saving, we are going to copy some piece of code, and which is this one. Okay, final user and this thing. Just copy this step by step. Okay, and now make sure to import this Firebase. Okay, let's just do it from here. Remove this and write user, and you will see this one, which is Firebase auth dot dot. Okay, so import this, and then let's initialize this thing also, which is our Firebase auth instance. So above here we can say this. Okay, and now instead of create user, we are going to sign in user with email. This one, sign in with email and password. Okay, which needs two parameters, first one email and the second one password. If any error occur, we will display that error in a toast message, which you can see here. Okay, if you want you can import it, which is on the registration page. This function is on the registration page. Okay, here you can see it. And then after this, from the registration screen, let's copy this piece of code also, where we check this thing, if Firebase user not equals to null. Okay, let's copy this if else statement, copy this piece of code, come back here to the login screen, and then after it we can just paste it. Now here, if the user is signed in successfully with email and password, then we will also check one more further condition. We can check that if the Firebase user is not null, remove this map. We are going to check if the user data exists in the database or not for that specific user who is trying to log in. So we have to check in the Firebase real-time database. That is, let's say for example, this user exists in the user's node or not. Okay, so just like this. So what we need to do is first make sure to import users reference, Firebase user dot uid, and remove this dot set from it. And then after it we can check that alongside here we can say dot once dot, then remove this, add round brackets, and we can say data snapshot snap, and then make sure to add curly braces here and put a semicolon here at the end. And then inside the curly brace we can say that if snap dot view If this is not equals to null, then we are going to send the user to the main screen. So we can say main screen. Let's just remove this, and then we can say main screen dot id screen, just like this. As well as you can display the toast message, which we can say to the user that is you are logged in. Logged in. Now, else if the record do not exist in the Firebase real-time database, then in that case what we want to do, we just do not want the user to logged in, okay, and we will sign out the user, because the user has to provide the name, phone, email, and password, all these information. I mean, it must be stored for that user in the Firebase real-time database. So we can say here that is Firebase or dot sign out, just like this, and then after it you can display a message to the user that is no records, no record exist for this user, and then we can tell the user please create new account. So yeah, that's it. And here we can see say that error occurred, cannot be signed in. The thing that we need to do here is to add validation before we call the function which is login and authenticate user, just like we did on the registration screen. If I show you, then here it is. Okay, so for the email we add this validation, so you can copy this if statement, come back here, and inside here we can just paste it. Okay, so if the email does not contain @ we can say email address is not valid, and the second one is for the password, which is this one. Okay, so you can just copy this, come back here, and you can paste it here, and this time we are going to check if the password field is empty. So we can say dot is empty. So if this is empty, we can say that hey, please provide password, or we can say password is mandatory. So yeah, and then the last one is we can simply say else. If all the conditions satisfies, then we are going to call the login and authenticate user function. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, everything is okay now. And one more thing is here we forgot to remove this thing, which is the value. If when we are checking the database, that is if the record exists or not here, okay, you can see it, remove this value alongside with this round bracket, okay, and this arrow sign, just remove this like this. Okay, make sure that you follow the exact same steps. Here you can see it. So yeah, that's it. So open the Android emulator or iPhone simulator. Okay, and if you remember in the previous video lecture, we have already registered the user, and the user was authenticated, and the user was on the main screen. And since you know that we have not yet added the logout or sign out button in our app, so that's why we are going to uninstall the app. I mean delete the app, so that we can check the login feature also. Okay, so once you delete this, the next step is to just run the app, I mean install the app on the phone. So let's wait for it. So the app is running now here successfully, and let's just quickly log in. So I will write my correct email and then password. And let's say if you write incorrect email, for example, I'm going to remove this and write this. Okay, so if I click login, it says that there is no user record exists related to this email address. Okay, so I have to provide the correct email address. Let's provide incorrect password here so that we can check the error what is going on. Here you can see the password is incorrect. You can see there, if you click here, invalid. Okay, here you can see it. Now let's just provide the correct password, correct email, in order to check if it is working or not. So I just click on login, and here we go. You are logged in now and we are on the main screen. So congratulations, it is working fine. Now in the next video lecture we will add some progress, which is the loading bar. That is, whenever the user click on the login button, then it will display a dialog box where we will have a progress. That is just to tell the user to please that we are authenticating and we are allowing you to log in. And let's say if any error occur, then we will cancel the loading bar, or you can say the progress bar. Same is for the registration also. So yeah, that's it for this video, and see you guys in the next video lecture. Bye for now.